Hello, welcome back to the Mr. Arsenal podcast for the match review of Arsenal versus Newcastle United. Obviously, you can see I'm joined by Andrew and Steve. A few minutes later, I do apologise for that. But yeah, how you doing, guys?
I'm all right, Hitler, thank you.
Jumper. The Christmas jumper.
A bit longer than Hitler, but okay.
Not December yet, though.
Waiting on me. Putting the blame on me. That's really nice.
You was the last one backstage. That's what I was saying. That was all. I wouldn't say it was all your fault.
Sorry, I've been watching Emmerdale.
And now behind you.
That's what the Spurs fans think we do all the time. So that's what I've been doing. Yeah. Can't let them down.
Yeah, can't let them down when they're losing.
Just been reading about Juventus possibly getting relegated for financial messing about.
Oh yeah.
Well, not match fixing this time. Just messing about.
No, inflating players' values over the last couple of years, apparently.
Okay.
Oh. Well, it's not as if they're not used to doing that, is it? Going through the leagues.
Yeah, exactly. Oh dear. But yeah,
my heart bleeds for them.
Yeah, it's gutted.
Oh, poor old Juventus. Yeah, all the 9 league titles in a row. Poor old Juventus.
Yeah, got like Aaron Ramsey that don't even play on $400,000 a week.
Nice work, you can get it.
Brought back the best manager they ever had, and they're doing shit. So yeah, they're going to get a decent score against Chelsea. But as you said, it could be worse. You could be Tottenham and losing against the worst team in Europe. Full stop. You had to rent the football ground they used on the week last week. That's how low that thing is.
They're on a par with Accrington Stanley, Gillingham, and Burton Albion, apparently. As far as the Europe, they are seriously on as far as the European rankings go. Yeah.
No, it just shows it doesn't matter who the manager is, does it? Really?
Yeah.
No,
exactly.
Spurs will be Spurs.
Spurs will be crap. No, that's it.
Exactly.
End of.
No, it could only happen to them. It could only happen to them. The only English team in that competition, the only way they're going to win something, and they're bottoming it at the group stage. They could be knocked out in a couple of weeks' time.
Against like Aldi FC or whatever they were called.
Oh, I can't wait.
Perhaps there's another competition they can drop into if they get knocked out. I don't know if there is another one they can drop into.
It puts a whole new spin on the Farmers League when they're actually playing farmers.
Oh, God. Got a point. Got a few people in the chat as well, as we already know. Got Shane, Colonel, Neil, Beats, Gunner.
Hello, everyone.
I think Steve's there as well, watching this and Coronation Street.
Yeah, like I said, we can't let the Spurs fans down.
Yeah. No, but that sort of made that sort of made my day better because obviously I had a jab on Thursday, so that made me even better. Like, but they lost. Oh, that's fantastic. Great, come on, let's move, and fucking come back a bit in the arse the next day.
It would just be better if they'd have said we were all sitting watching Heartbeat. But obviously with Greengrass here, that would have been get the viewing figures up and your royalties up, mate.
Absolutely, mate. Just do the reruns on the UK TV or something like that.
Exactly, yeah. Keep the coin coming in.
Oh dear! But yeah, what made it even better is obviously we came back and got the result on Saturday. But as I said last week, I was saying the positives I took out of one of the positives I took out of last week was we get to immediately bounce back before anyone else kicks the ball, and we can sort of make a point advantage again and all that. And we did, and we have. Because again, Wolves dropped points, United dropped points, or they dropped a couple of points, and they sort of lost. They were expected to lose, but they got a point. So West Ham lost just by the skin of the teeth. Like no one really caught up with us really, and then what made it even better. Then Tottenham got beaten by Snow.
I know. They get hammered everywhere they go, even by Snow.
Oh,
but you see, what's even funnier is a Tottenham fan came all the way from America somewhere, has travelled like 5,000 miles, only just arrived at the stadium about 2:00 or something, and got told it was off.
Yeah. Then Harry Maguire hours later.
It's so funny.
Yeah, Harry Kane hours later tweeted him saying, "Oh, next time you're in town, I want to treat you to the next home game." And someone's gone back into that guy's Twitter a few months ago.
No thanks.
And basically, it's like slagging Harry Kane off a couple of months ago. It's like awkward. But yeah, as I said, we got the chance to respond, and we did. First half was a bit dodgy. We had all the ball, but we weren't penetrating enough, and then we started. And then Newcastle got into the game. But second half, we couldn't fault us at all. The professional performance, and GABI comes on and finishes off the game with a perfect goal.
I enjoyed it all, to be honest. I think the way we were attacking, there was a bit of a sloppiness here and there with the passing and so on every now and then, but the attacking was a lot more free-flowing. I mean, let's face it, Newcastle didn't come to score a goal or win. They had everyone behind the ball and made it really, really difficult, as we just, we knew they would. But I just thought overall, it was a lot more fluid, and it seemed like we weren't as sort of rigid in our attacking formation. We had a lot more expression, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. It seemed like we were able to use our, improvisation a little bit. And that's what I really enjoyed about it. I thought it was quite exciting. Right the way through the game, to be honest with you. And I think there's some great performances out there, especially like the fullbacks. I mean, the fullbacks were outstanding, I think. I think all the defence, again, was amazing. I mean, that first half save by Ramsdale, I mean, what more can you say about Ramsdale? I mean,
he does it every week now, doesn't he?
Mate, honestly, I mean, you make like a scrapbook of his saves of this season alone. It's like, a who's who of the greatest goalkeepers, isn't it?
I mean, back to last season when we saw dominating games and then we conceded a goal, don't we? That was our MO last season. But yesterday, the weekend, we didn't concede that goal. Ramsdale pulls off a save. In fact, there's another one that drilled through the players that he sort of got on the end of as well. So we didn't concede. So again, that was a positive from my perspective. Another clean sheet.
Yeah. I know, it's amazing. I mean, you cannot say enough about the fullbacks as well. With Tavares was amazing, outstanding.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Tomiyasu. I mean, can you remember one sort of thing really that? Oh God, what's his name? Their main player, their most attacking threat, Newcastle. What's his bloody name?
Not you don't talk about Shelby, do you? Not talking about Shelby.
No. They're attacking.
Maxim.
That's it, Alan St. Maximin. Bloody brain again. Can you remember one thing that I can't even remember his name? So I was going to say, can you remember anything that he did? Because was kept so bloody quiet by Tomiyasu and didn't do anything in the game. And
if you look at the way that Tomiyasu, the money we pay for him is in today's market. I mean, you'd think he was a 30-40 million pound player, wouldn't you? Just the way he does his business.
Yeah.
And I was quite impressed that he kept Tavares in after the Liverpool game. It could be very easy to drop Tavares and bring in Tierney, but he gave him another go, and he was outstanding, I thought.
Well, again,
work on, but he's not frightened to have a go, is he?
But that's what I like about him, because he's learning all the time. You can see that, and he had a few rash shots, but we've been crying out for a long time for people to have a pop outside the box for quite a while, rather than trying to pass it into the net every now and then. That took it to another level with his shooting. He'd always been watching Thomas Partey in training or something, but I do love his enthusiasm. I do love the fact that he's got so much positivity and to do something like that. And I'd never want to take that out of him. But he's learned. I mean, he came out the second half. Obviously, Arteta must have, he could have potentially stuck Tierney in after half time, couldn't he? Because of Tomiyasu. I mean, because of Tavares' shooting and a bit rashness and so on. But he didn't. He stuck with him. And he must have had a word with him in the second half, because when he came out, he was so much more controlled. He was a real threat going forward. He was moving right inside. He was playing almost as a centre forward sometime. He was right in the centre of the attack. And obviously that's where the brilliant first goal came from. It was a lovely, flick that he put inside to Saka, wasn't it? I mean, great awareness.
I thought when I first started, maybe that was just him bedding down, but now he seems a lot quicker than he was when he first broke into the side. And he's not, and a lot of the players going down the left-hand side. So it basically gives us two options now, with Saka on the right and Tavares and ESR on the left. I mean, it's given us a lot of opportunities to spread the play all the time.
Yeah.
And, there's a few, half-hearted penalty decisions. I mean, that one where he chased down the forward in the second half and didn't give away.
Oh, that's brilliant.
That would have been easy
great.
just to take him out and, penalty, wouldn't it? Sent off, but he didn't. He just stayed on his feet. He gave him a little bit of a shoulder nudge, and that was it.
That was outstanding, I thought, to be honest with you.
From a young lad defending in that situation, I thought that was great.
It was. I mean, the sprinting power he got, the way he got back, and the strength he showed there against, a wily old, centre forward who's got loads of Premier League experience. And Wilson, he's going to go and use all his experience to try and get that penalty, but he gave him no option. He just completely muscled him off the ball, and he was magnificent. I mean, the way he doesn't let his head drop after a wayward pass or one of those shots, like we said in the first half, nothing ever gets to him. And I tell you what, I mean, the fitness he's got, and he's a machine, isn't he? I mean, he runs until the last minute, and he gives us something different. I mean, like I said earlier, the way he sort of drifts into the centre of the park and really sort of helps link play that way. I mean, Tierney doesn't do that. Tierney I'm never going to slag off Tierney, and we're not going to say, Tavares is much better than Tierney, blah, blah, because Tierney carried us for a long period of time, and everyone still loves Tierney. I still love Tierney anyway, but he is a lot more predictable in his play, the way that he does things.
The thing is,
Tierney.
He's making it very difficult to drop him now, isn't he?
Yeah, and that's great. That's because he does things that Tierney doesn't do, doesn't he?
Well, he does, yeah. He's much more direct, and I mean, Tierney's about getting to the byline and whipping it across in the end. But I think Tavares he's almost made the position his own at the moment.
I mean, after this short period of time, right? He's been in our team. What, I don't know, 10, 11 games now.
Give or take, all comes, yeah.
Yeah. Just taking that short period of time into account, how much is that guy worth now? I mean,
there's another bargain, isn't he? No,
he must be worth really already. You can stick it. You wouldn't be laughed at if you put like a 35-40 million pound price tag on him after these 11 games, would you?
Well, his age as well. His age is worth that, isn't it? He's doing it in the Premier League, for God's sake, So
6.5 million? I think we paid 8 million euros, wasn't it? I think something like that.
Nothing.
I mean, what a bargain! I mean, and let's talk about Sambi as well, because Sambi ran the game. I thought.
Last week, yeah.
He's another one. The confidence that these two have got, Tavares and Sambi, they don't let anything get them down. They're so chilled out in what they do. They're so calm. They're almost like you can see them evolving game by game because they're getting this vital experience that they're getting week after week. They're being trusted, and I've said this before in so many counter pods before about getting a run of games, haven't I? And getting your match fitness, and having the trust of the manager to do that, to give you that trust. That means so much to a player. And the fact that he has trusted them and not taken them out the firing line after that Liverpool game, and especially, and the mistakes they've made previously, well, Sambi especially, when he made that pass and gave away the goal. He just doesn't let anything faze him, and the manager's stuck by him. And you can see that trust is getting magnified onto the pitch in their performance. And it's wonderful, really wonderful to see, isn't it? And in these young players that this is just so valuable I keep saying the word valuable, sorry, but it is really, really important that they're getting this game time, because you can see that they're learning from their mistakes already.
And I asked in my stream on Saturday, I said straight when I saw the lineups live, that was a big call from Mikel as well, because that could have easily backfired and he could have took a lot of flack for that as well, even though it's Newcastle, you never know. For it to have gone the way it did, there's a massive problem. You've got to take a massive hat off to Arteta as well to have to keep the faith of him.
Yeah. I think we said last week that these are the games that we should win. And before, these are the games we haven't won. We've had opportunities to do well in the league, and we've lost games like Newcastle and so on. So fact we're now actually winning these games, you know, we're now in fourth place, level on points. You know, I mean, obviously the goal difference with West Ham, but you know that could all change by Thursday. You know, we could be looking at top four. So, and these players are just all gelling together at the same time, aren't they? You've got 6 players now that we signed, all playing in the first team.
Yeah.
You know, all of an age whereby they could play for the next 7 or 8 years, easy. The trouble will be to keep hold of them, as we already said. You know, if they're worth, you know, the big clubs, you know, bigger clubs will start come calling, won't they, for Tommy and Gabriel and you know, Tavares. You know, they're all going to be sought after players, aren't they?
Yeah, but it makes a difference when
absolutely.
They're all a similar sort of age group, and they're going through this journey together, aren't they? They're building something, and when it's like that, it's less likely that they're just going to be tempted away by, you know, any kind of offer, because they're building something special and they're part of it, you know, and that's what I'm hoping anyway, that will keep this team together for, you know, the foreseeable future, because it's like they'll get like a sort of a family environment almost within the club, because they're all of a similar age group and they're all going to be going through this journey together. And I think it's a strong bond that they'll be creating in that changing room, and that's what I'm hoping that will keep this. Because I mean, comments about that Gabriel Martinelli, because we'll come on to him in a bit. Let's have a Gabriel Martinelli appreciation section in a little while. But the comments he made after the game, it says it all, really. I think it was lovely to hear that he's really, really happy. He wasn't expecting minutes, but whenever he gets it, he said something like, even if I get 2, 5, 10 or 20 minutes or whatever, it means a lot to him and he'll give his all. And it was great to hear, because everyone's been worrying, myself included, all of us, I'm sure, how he's feeling at the moment with getting so few minutes on the pitch. Because I think before Saturday, he'd only played 15 minutes all season. Since the start of the season, so it's a big thing for him to what he did when he came in, and it's lovely to hear, actually. And that's what I'm talking about with regards to the environment that they're building in that changing room. I think it's going to set us in good stead for keeping this team together longer term.
Well, I hope so. I mean, but ultimately it'll come down to trophies, won't it? Ultimately it'll come down to, we need to start winning stuff. You know, this team could win something this season, but next season we'll be even stronger, because I'm sure we're going to add to that. Well, in some areas, and I know we talked about strikers and, you know, another midfield player, because we are a bit light in midfield. So, you know, it's who we bring in that doesn't upset the feeling within the club, because they've all got the same mentality, haven't they? They all want to win. They all want to play for the badge. They're all enjoying playing for the club, and you don't want to bring anybody in as a bit of a, you know, flying the orange.
Bad egg.
Yeah. Bad egg who suddenly disrupts everything.
I mean, I put a tweet out there, I think it was yesterday, I can't remember exactly when it was, about how I'd love us to go after Ivan Toney. I don't know whether you saw it.
Yeah,
and some of the responses I've been getting to it, saying, you know, not saying he's shit, but saying he's not good enough. You know, he'd never be good enough. He's coming to the Premier League. He's not. They're expecting him to score a goal a game in the Premier League after just being promoted with a team like Brentford, who have never been in the Premier League before. They're finding their feet, and I'm sick to death of this snobbishness that a lot of our fans have got about buying a player from a lower team, a lower ranked team. Liverpool made that side that they've got now from buying players from lower ranked teams and relegated teams and so on.
Excuse me, though. I mean, where did Tavares?
It does my head in.
Where did Tavares come from?
Well, exactly. Well, where did
Where
did Sadio Mane come from? Where did Jordan Henderson come from? Where did Wijnaldum come from? You know, where did Robertson come from? It does my head in, this snobbishness, because it's clear to see, if you've got eyes in your head, the quality of that guy. I think he's a really good quality player. He's technically excellent. He's big, strong, powerful, but this is what we've been talking about over the previous weeks. It's been a common theme, hasn't it, with regards to the signings that we make have to have that right character. And when they come to Arsenal, they've got to feel like they've hit the pinnacle of their career. Not buying players. And I'm not saying I don't want someone like Sterling, because I think he's a quality player, but I'm just going to use him as an example because of where he's coming from. So if he joins Arsenal, he's going to think that it's a step down for him, because he's at Newcastle, winning everything. I know you shouldn't feel like that coming from Man City to Arsenal, obviously, but got to face facts at the moment of where they are, and he'll think it's a step down for him, and he's going to be a bit wounded mentally by that. No matter what you say, he's going to think, I've been turfed out of this place where I'm winning something every single year, and now I'm at Arsenal type of thing where they're not winning things at the moment. But when you buy someone like Tony, he's going to he's come through the leagues, Peterborough, Northampton, Brentford. He will think that coming to Arsenal is like the pinnacle of his career. He will treat it as such. He will play his heart out and run through brick walls for the team. That's the sort of people that you want in the club, and that's what will elevate your position. And if you can't see that someone like him would benefit from being in a team and score goals in the Premier League, he would score goals being in the Arsenal team, no doubt whatsoever. 20 plus goals a season, I think he will be, because of the place he's got round him, rather than playing in a team that's just getting used to playing in the Premier League. They're doing well, but he scored at the weekend. He would get more chances at Arsenal, without question.
If you use that logic, we'd have never signed Ramsdale, would we?
No.
Yeah, exactly. Another great example. Yeah,
Benjamin White.
He's come from a lower league side, and and you think, okay, well, he's obviously good enough because we've made a big effort to buy him, and now look at us. So if he comes from a lower side and he's good enough, though, buy him. If he fits, if he fits the type of team that we want, buy him.
Exactly. Look at Alan's going back to the past. Before a lot of our listeners and viewers have probably started joining watching Arsenal, but obviously going back to Steve Bold, Lee Dixon era. But even before that, when we bought Alan Smith from Leicester, who were a lower league team at that point, he could be like our Alan Smith. I'm not saying he's going to be like a world-class player, maybe, but I've got just such a good feeling about him. I really have. I'm not saying, Steve there in the chat, Steve F saying, he's not sure he's the one. No one will be 100% sure he's the one until he gets that opportunity in the team. Every signing is a risk, but I just see things in him that I love. The way he plays football, his spark, his personality on the pitch. He's got a great touch as well. He could head the ball brilliantly. He bullied our back four, didn't he, when it was the previous back four earlier in the season. And I just think that in the right environment, he would thrive. I've just got that feeling about him. Maybe wrong. I just think he's an achievable buy as well.
Yeah, but back in the day, all the players come from lower league sides, didn't they? But nobody used to go and buy players from Europe. Everybody come from first or second division sides, didn't they? That's how it was.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
It's only now that everybody seems to think, well, if they're foreign, they must be better. That's not necessarily the case.
No, exactly. I totally agree, and I think everyone didn't think exactly that brilliant example you just gave, Steve, about Ramsdale. The abuse he got before he'd even put pen to paper, saying he's not, he's shit. Why are we going after him? Blah blah blah. And people may well say the same about Tony. I may well be completely wrong about Tony. But I just got a real good feeling about the way he plays. And I know what Richard's just said there, saying our system wouldn't suit him. I think he's an excellent technical player. He can hold the ball up. People wanting and raving about Lacazette being back in the team. He's not scoring goals either. But what Lacazette's doing, Tony could easily do, but he'd be a much more of a goal threat as well. The way he can turn and run, he's got pace. He's young. He's only 25, I think. So great age, and it'd be the right sort of age to bring through all our other younger players like Balogun, obviously Martinelli, although it's up for debate whether he's more of a sort of an inside forward rather than centre forward. But I just think that with the players that we've got, he's not just like a lump, like a centre forward, who's the old-fashioned type of target man. I don't think he's that at all. He is great with his head, which would be a big benefit when we have got players like Tierney and Tommy and whoever sort of crossing the ball in from time to time. But I think he's got the technical ability to be a really good quality striker as well. So we'll have to wait and see. Really, really interesting. Yeah, really interesting the way they go with the next striker.
Mark says in the chat, the trouble with our fans, they want the Ronaldos, the Messis. They think they're still huge. They think we're still a huge club. We're not at the moment. In the future, maybe, but not now. But even then, going back, as you said, when George Graham first came in, we've mentioned plenty of times on this channel and podcast. When he first came in, what did he do? He had lots of Charlie Nicholas and Ricks and all that. He gave him a few weeks, and after a bit of time, he realised, no, not good enough. He helped him out the door, and he then invested in academy. Also,
character.
He went to doing what we're seeing now. Gone to the lower league clubs and brought the characters in, the young, hungry players that want to come here. That you said will appreciate coming to Arsenal. That's like the pinnacle of their career. Like, oh, it's Arsenal. Wow, they want to achieve the best they can for Arsenal. And look what what was cut short as well. He achieved in that time frame.
Exactly, and it was all about the right characters in the changing room. You know, you don't always have to have a world-class player in every position. Not very, very few teams throughout history have ever had that. It's about getting the right blend a lot of the time, because you've got to see the football team as a machine, haven't you? All working together. It's not a team of individuals. It's a team that create this kind of machine that win football matches, who can overcome the odds and win things. And because Liverpool did it like that. Liverpool grew into what they are today by buying these players that we've already mentioned earlier on in the show. That's how they grew. If you go through their team individually, I mean, yes, they've got like Mo Salah, but when they bought him, he was a reject at Chelsea. He was playing over in Roma, was it?
Yeah, he flopped at Chelsea, went to Serie A, and was tearing up at Serie A. But in Premier League wise, he'd already come here and he hadn't proved himself.
He wasn't a world star when they bought him.
No, nowhere near.
No, so using that logic earlier, Liverpool should never have signed him.
No, and Sadio Mane wasn't pulling up trees, was he? He wasn't pulling up trees at Southampton.
Massively inconsistent, and he had a hot head as well.
But you put in the right environment and the right manager and the right, approach to playing the game. Look at him now.
Exactly, yeah.
The best player in the world, allegedly.
Look at Jota.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at Jota. He came from Wolves, and it was only a young player at Wolves. He wasn't pulling up trees. You could see he was a good player. But it was a bit of a gamble. It certainly was a gamble when they bought him. But now he's totally taken Firmino's place in that team.
Yeah, so it's nothing to do with the club they come from, is it, really? It's just about the player being able to develop within your system. So you go and buy a player, you think, he's playing in a lower league side, but he can play in my system. And if he can play in my system and develop from there, that's all you want, isn't it?
Yeah. Absolutely.
You don't have to go and spend 70, 80 million pound on a player if you just buy the right player. Doesn't matter what they cost. Tavares being an example. We've just gone out and spent 30, 40 million pound on an established English left back. But I think we bought a better player. Yeah.
Well, I think it's just massively impressive that work we've done in the summer. I can't think of a better summer window for anyone for years. The success that it's brought
so far.
I mean, again, I know it's early days, but we've had a decent chunk to look at these guys now, and you've got to say that it's just been a wonderful window with all the players that have brought in. I know that another tweet I put out after the game was I know that he didn't have one of his better games overall at the weekend, but he's still finding it's his first start for a long time in Martin Odegaard. I'm talking about. Sorry, I think that he makes a real difference in the team. The way that we can progress the ball back to front, he works his socks off. That guy.
He links the play, doesn't he? He links
brilliantly, yeah. And I there's so much more to come from him, and I'm so glad that he was back in the team, and I can just see that we can play better with him around. I really do. And he leads the team. He's a good non-armband wearing captain on the pitch as well. You can see him organising, telling people to push up, telling people where to go, who to mark. He's doing it all the time, and he's only going to get better game on game. I just hope he stays in the team now. I really do. We had this conversation last week, didn't we, about whether Lacazette should keep his place. And again, you know, I'm not slagging Lacazette off in the slightest, but I just think that Martin Odegaard overall can offer more in doing that role that Lacazette has been doing. And I just hope he gets that run of games to start building his match sharpness and his match fitness, and I think we'll get to see more and more of that guy.
Quite a lot of games during December, haven't we? I think we've got 6, 7, maybe 8, even 8 games during December. So they're going to have to, you know, we're going to get two games a week, aren't we, for a few weeks now? So they're all going to have to play their part, aren't they? We can't play the same team week in, week out. So you know, players like, you know, Tierney and Lacazette will have to do their part, but I think there's also an opportunity for Martinelli to get a full 90 minutes somewhere along the line as well. Maybe not on Thursday, but certainly first change, you know, depending on who you start, you know, I think he's proved again he needs to play. Well,
wasn't it lovely seeing him get more than 2 minutes at the end of the game? I mean,
yeah, exactly.
What a player he is. I love that. I love him so much. Never stop loving him.
It's a live wire, isn't he? He's always at it, isn't he? He's always somewhere.
I just mean that, honestly, that finish was so underrated by football as a whole. I mean, I know Arsenal fans, you know, have been going on about how good, but I mean, the football world in general and the media, again, if that had been anyone else in any other team, if that had been a Man City goal or a Liverpool goal, they would not stop talking about that. I mean, that finish over his shoulder, watching it all the way, but that perfect little deft touch over the goalkeeper, that was so much harder than anyone realises. And it was such a wonderful goal to watch. It was brilliant and a great ball by Tomiyasu.
But he's come on cold, isn't he? He's hardly played. He's come on cold. It might be very easy for him to, I don't know, try and bring it under control and find a teammate or do something sensible. But that's not in his gene, is it? He saw the opportunity and he hit it, you know, and that's a sign of a good finisher, isn't it? Where they don't really think about the consequences. They just hit the target. And, I mean, that, you know, goal of the month, I mean, that's right up there. And as you say, the ball from Tomiyasu, the little chip forward, I mean, there's nothing you can't say badly about the whole thing, really. I mean, it was just great. And just to come off the bench and do that, unbelievable.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I mean that. We'll go on to that quote later on. But I mean, Tyrese John Jules hasn't been banging in hat tricks week after week. I mean, I love Tyrese John Jules. Tyrese John Jules reminds you a little bit of a really young Lacazette, to be honest, the way he plays and his stature, his body shape, and everything. But anyway, that's for another time. But exactly what you said. I mean, the fact that that's instinctive what he did. You know, he just come onto the pitch. And you don't. That's the sort of thing. You know, it's a really, really tired old cliche, but that's the sort of thing you can't teach a footballer. You've either got that instinct or you haven't, and that just shows you the quality that kid's got, in my opinion.
Well, it's
just
the
brilliant.
Conversion rate, you know, shots on target to goals is pretty high. I would have if somebody's got a stat, you know, how many shots he has on goal that leads to a goal. I would imagine it's pretty high compared to a lot of our strikers. I mean, we won't mention the Uber miss from a yard, but I mean, you know, that was, that was a bit unfortunate.
I mean, yeah, he's just badly
just off his
off
game,
form.
just off his game.
Yeah. I don't agree with anyone that thinks that he's not trying. I think he's working hard.
It's just not happening for him.
I think he's working hard. He's doing a lot of running. He's certainly not bothering on the pitch, and his body language is a lot better than when it was before, when he was ill with malaria and all that sort of stuff, and he had the problem with his mum and that last season. You could actually tell that he really wasn't at the races then. But I think he's trying really hard in games with his running and clothing. But nothing is going right for him. Nothing at all. It's just he can't hit a barn door with a banjo at the moment. And I think it would be useful for him just to be rested for a week or so, just to let him know that his position is not guaranteed anymore. However, I'm not sure I'd rest him against Man United.
No, but I think that's
on Thursday. We need him for that game. I really think we do.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
we go as strong as possible and without home coming.
Yeah, he's done all right against Man United recently, hasn't he? Like Aubameyang as well.
Yeah, last year.
I know it was only a penalty last time, but he scored that goal where everyone thought he was offside. The
thing is with Man United, the thing is with Man United, you know they're going to play the best game of their season on Thursday, don't you?
Yeah, I know.
They're all going to turn up. They're all going to be up for it, and that's just the way it goes. Isn't it? Nobody's going to be injured. Ronaldo will play. And that's just, you can't afford not to have Uber in the side, can you really? And try somebody else, different position. So same team as on Saturday, really, pretty much.
Yeah. And now there was a comment earlier about Ødegaard saying he doesn't win us games. I disagree. I think it's the way that we play. It's not the fact that he goes and does all the assisting and scoring. It's not that kind of player with him. He knits things together and we attack more freely, I think, with him on the pitch. He gets the ball forward quicker. He can hold the ball up and slow the game down when needs be as well, just to take the sting out of things. He's got really good intelligence, I think. And I think when he's in the team, against Newcastle, I think we attacked so much more fluidly and got the ball forward better because of him. Not purely because of him, but he is a big, big help in that, I think. And that's the way that he will help us win matches, by bringing other people into the game and his clever passing, his really hard work. I think he's a fantastic player as far as that's concerned.
James is in the chat, says Ødegaard doesn't win us games, ? I must also different game versus Burnley away then. Yeah,
he nearly scored one on Saturday as well, didn't he? He had another brilliant free kick. Yeah.
If we'd have started that a bit wider, that would have the goalkeeper wouldn't have got there. It was just a little bit too close, wasn't it?
Yeah, another great point there. But Gary, Arsenal's top 2 shooting tallies are with Ødegaard on the pitch. There you go.
There you go. Says it all. Then,
he doesn't. That's just because he does. This is what I've had this argument again before, haven't I? About creativity. Creativity isn't just about being the assister or being the scorer. It's about bringing everyone else into the game and making the game a lot more fluid and making it easier for your teammates by, great vision, hard work, and getting the ball to them on time at the right time. That is all about the creativity as well. He's that type of player.
I think Ødegaard is about getting the ball to the Saka, the Smith Rowes, the Martinellis, isn't it? He sort of knits the thing. I mean, every team needs a sort of a workhorse, if you like, within the side that does the running around, picks the ball up, passes it forward, gives it to the attacking players, let them and support them, rather than being the Ozil with the killer pass, and all of that. That's not his game. That's not to say that he can't do that. But I think at the moment he's, as you say, he's in the team to sort of knit it all together. So he's like the missing link, if you like.
Yeah.
And, I think we don't play as well when he's not in the side, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And he's certainly gives us a lot more than Lacazette does.
100% don't agree, BX, about him being a project. He is not a project at all. He's such a good player, very, very intelligent player, leader on the pitch, and he just needs a few games to get the rustiness out. That was his first start for ages, wasn't it? When was the last time he started a game? He was dropped for 4 or 5, wasn't he?
I think it was a North London derby. I think he started, from what I can remember.
Yeah,
Might have been the
It
game
might be
after.
right. Yeah, might be right.
Might be Brighton. The game after. Might be Brighton. He dropped one of the two.
Yeah, but well, how many games ago is that? 4 or 5 games. I'm guessing. So that's his first start for quite a while. He just needs to get a bit of rustiness out from underneath his boots, and he'd be flying again. I really, really like him as a player. He's a lovely player to watch, and
we've got,
I couldn't disagree more with the fact that he's a project. He's absolutely he's a finished article, and he's so young.
I think it's I mean, it's a growing team together, isn't it? You're going to have players performing at different levels, aren't you? But the important thing is they're growing together, and they'll support each other. And he obviously enjoys playing for us, and he's going to be creative. I mean, the free kicks around the box. I mean, the way he gets the ball up and down, pretty close in. That's a pretty decent skill there, right there. And he'll
100%, yeah.
Misses.
Yeah. And James has agreed with me. I said that earlier, James, in case you just joined us. I said about him being a leader on the pitch, waving players up, telling them who to mark, shouting at all the senior players, or so-called senior players, shall we say, and telling them what to do. We need that on the pitch. We need as many of those on the pitch as we can, and he's definitely one of those. That's for sure.
And he's got a good engine as well, isn't he? He's closing down as much as anybody else, isn't he?
He works really hard.
He works really hard for but he's doing it for the team. He's not doing it for his own, I'm superstar. He's not doing it. They're all playing together, and nobody's is better than anybody else in that respect.
No, there's no flash Harrys at all in our team who want to take all the headlines, is there?
No.
And I think they're all just as happy for each other if they score a goal when we win. They're all, angry when we lose. There's a real togetherness in this team. So, they're really, really pleased to see that. They're all They seem to be bonding really, really well, all of them.
Yeah, so we can go on another. Sorry, go on.
No, go on. I was just going to say, Beat's going to come back and say Madrid let him go at a cut rate. He wasn't rated at all. He was rated just
because they're virtually bankrupt.
The Madrid, there's that. The fact
and they wanted to buy Mbappe.
There's that as well. They're virtually bankrupt. They're basically bankrupt. They wanted to buy Mbappe. They needed the money. And at the same time, they didn't want to upset the apple cart of doing likes of Tony Kroos and all that, who are on their way anyway. But leave them to it. If in the long term it benefits us, I'm not going to complain. But we do have to give them a bit of time to settle in.
I will. All I'll say is everyone's entitled to their opinion. I totally disagree. But I really always appreciate BX's comments. I do. But let's just say time will tell. At the end of the season, let's see, how he's played, and we can rate him then. But I just think he's going to get better and better and show everyone what a great player he is.
I think so. He just needs a run of games, doesn't he? Like we were saying with Martinelli, he just needs a run of games now. String a few together and build up. They were saying in the commentary, which is quite important, there's lots of partnerships developing within the side. Lots of little left-hand side, central defence, the back. They're all sort of starting to perform well together. And I think Odegaard fits into that really well with Saka on the right. And I just think he'll go from strength to strength if he gets more games. Yeah.
The fact that Arteta was so desperate to get him, he was always a number one target. It speaks volumes, really. I just think he's such a good...
Well, here's a question to BX Gunner. Who do you rather, right now, knowing the season's underway, who the players were at the two players were after, Martin Odegaard, or the guy that's flopping at Ben Dwyer at Villa, that hasn't turned up at all this season? Who would you rather have?
Yeah, or him, or Lacazette. Would you rather have Lacazette in the team than Odegaard? He's... And that's what Steve F's just said there. Need to see someone bossing games. He will be the start of that type of player who will do that more and more often the more games he plays, because not only by dictating the play, but also, like I said, his leadership on the pitch, and he's got an incredible... You can see with some of the movement he's got and some of the little passes he makes, he's got very, very good technical brain, real football brain, really intelligent footballer, and that's the way he will start bossing games as well in there in the not too distant future, I believe.
I think he plays the way Arteta wants him to play at the end of the day as well, isn't it? There's a certain amount of the manager influencing how the players play, and I think Arteta sees him as playing within the system that he wants to develop, and that's that might be curtailing some of his attacking play, possibly.
Yeah, that's a good point. Sorry, Steve, to butt in. He was playing deeper, don't forget, as well in the earlier games of the season. He was playing as part of the 2 of a 4-2-3-1, sitting in front of the back 4 with Thomas Partey. I mean, that you cannot judge him when he's playing that role, which is so alien to him, which is not working to his strengths at all.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, the earlier appearances that he had in the season, you cannot judge him on those because he was playing far, far too deep. That's not what we brought him for. That's not where his skills lie either.
But like you say, you judge at the end of the season, don't you? Where we are now, and you think, well, where are we going to be? At the end of the season, that's when you can start scoring or rating players, isn't it? I think you got to give them to the end of the season, and then take a view.
Yeah, and I think that the stat that Gary said earlier about our 2 highest shooting games have been when he's actually playing in his preferred role, in the sort of the number 10. And that says it all, really. That is what he's good at, creating chances for others.
But what was the North London derby? I was there, and literally, he was in every attack he was involved in. The ball went to him, and everything went through him, and we just looked threatening every fucking time.
Yeah.
He was playing that. He was playing his position because everyone was fit and available, and off he went.
Yeah, he's one of those players I just love watching. He's a proper good quality player. It just gracefully works across the pitch. But he's like what we said earlier as well. And we'll move on off the subject. I know he's taking too long talking about it, but he works his socks off as well, which is not like one of those type of players that fancy sort of number 10s who light up the league with their skills and everything, who are a bit lazy. He's far from that, isn't he? He's got all the skills and the technical ability, but he works his socks off as well at the same time.
Yeah, definitely.
It's great to see.
Yeah.
Breaking news though: Lionel Messi has won his 7th Ballon d'Or.
Oh, shock!
Horror there.
That's that's ridiculous. I think it should have been Lewandowski. It should have been Lewandowski, 100%.
Yeah,
he's been the best player in the world for the last couple of years, and he should have won it He should have won it during the lockdown, shouldn't he? But it was cancelled.
It was cancelled because they couldn't get Messi.
Won it.
I just think. I just think for the last 2 years, you can't. I mean, you look at the goal scoring record of Lewandowski; it's just utterly off the scale, isn't it? I think he's so unlike. He's never won it. It's just a joke, absolute joke, in my opinion.
But to go back to what we were talking about before. I mean, another one, obviously Saka mentioned what I can make up. We mentioned Saka and his goal got things all started. He's run off the ball because he got that goal. He got going, didn't he? Because he got the ball past it, off the ball run, stayed up, read the line to the ball got to him, and then just to pass it into the goal perfectly.
I thought
he was injured. He was like, I don't want to play on. I was like, no, get off. I don't want you getting injured. Go.
I know. I know. I thought he'd taken it a bit too wide. When he sort of first bared down on goal, I thought, oh God, it's like prime for just hit it against the goalkeeper, isn't it? Territory. But he blasted that into the back of the net. The goalkeeper couldn't move quick enough. It was brilliant. It was just a wonderful
goalkeeper. He couldn't get down quick enough, could he?
Yeah, I loved that goal. It was like an old-fashioned Arsenal goal, wasn't it? Under Wenger in the best years. That sort of
Tavares gets the assist, doesn't he?
Yeah, I know. Lewandowski.
He is back.
Brilliant.
As well.
No, he's absolutely right. Totally agree. But I thought that was a really, really nice goal, and he covered right across the front line, didn't he? In that goal, Saka came all the way from right to left. Totally got involved in the whole thing, and I really honestly thought he wasn't going to score it, but the way he just blasted it back gave the goalkeeper no chance. It was lovely. really nice. And I was so worried when he. Oh yeah, and just before that, actually, before we go on to his injury, when he took it between those two defenders as well, Saka cutting from the left hand side. That was beautiful. Right hand side, sorry, that was beautiful when he took it between the both of them. But it was a bit too. Didn't have enough pace on the finish, did it? But that was great to watch.
Too soft and a bit too much at the goalkeeper. Yeah.
Yeah, that he should have again. I think he should have chipped it high into the top corner.
Yeah,
but it was a brilliant move from him again. He's getting right back to his best, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a good all-round performance, isn't it? Our attacking play was a lot better, a lot quicker, especially second half. And before we've had trouble breaking down sides like that play, two banks before. We're trying to do all sorts of things. Whereas that was much more direct, and we did get round the back, and it led to the 2 goals, isn't it? So
yeah,
the next one.
I know. That the good point there to bring in his injury, and what a blow that will be for the Man United game if he's missing. But I mean, when he was sitting in the crowd, and not the crowd obviously, but when he come off, and after the game, he didn't seem to be in a lot of pain, did he? He was.
Well, I've seen things on Twitter. People saying they're outside, people working and all that. They've seen him walk about after the game. No sort of not walking gingy. It looked like it was just a pure muscle strain. He kept trying to walk it off, and it wasn't working. But obviously, I don't think he was off about 25, 30 minutes, wasn't it, with plus injury time? So maybe he had enough time.
If you see him training tomorrow, he'll play, won't he? If you see him training, he'll play.
And even if he isn't, look, he's one of our best players, but isn't the worst thing because obviously got to play on Monday night as well. Let's not forget against Everton. So it could be a God blessing, as a blessing in disguise. He missed just this game on Thursday. And it's not like we haven't got backups to play on Thursday that are good enough to slot in.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be really interesting to see where he goes with that because whenever we've seen Martinelli in the past coming on the right-hand side, it's not been his best. He's openly said in the past, I think it was just an interview he did last year, that he loves playing on the left. So that's going to be an interesting one, isn't it? What he does on Thursday if Saka is missing, which, like you said, if you're ever going to get a chance to give him a rest, even if he's not injured properly after the scan, if there's ever a chance to give him a rest, it's that one game. But then again, it's bloody Man United. It's one of the, to coin a phrase from Gary, it's Man United. You don't want to be resting your best players against Man United, do you, away? Yeah. So it's a real tough decision. But we'll have to wait and see what the injury update is because I haven't heard one yet.
No, I've heard nothing myself. We'll find, as I said,
if you don't see him training, then that'll give you a clue, won't it? I think. But he could switch Smith Rowe onto the right and put Martinelli on the left, couldn't he?
Yeah. I mean,
we could even throw
Pepe
on as well.
Pepe to play, get a game,
Yeah, it might be a good game for Pepe actually because their back line is atrocious, isn't it? I mean, I think that Slabhead's going to be back for Thursday. I think he was just suspended, wasn't he, at the weekend? Yeah,
he was suspended.
So, but I think Varane will still be out. But their back line is really, I mean, especially Wan-Bissaka. How that kid is getting a game. He's played every minute of Man United season.
Thank God he played yesterday because he gave away penalties. So
he is honestly, his form is atrocious. So I don't know. I'm going to be really intrigued as to which way he goes. Whether he puts Pepe back in, but I think the fact that Martinelli came on when Saka came off, it just speaks volumes about Pepe at the moment. I don't get why he's just been utterly frozen out, hasn't he?
It's difficult to see now how he gets back into the side, isn't it? Because if he's thinking along the lines, well, Martinelli's my first choice change, then he could well start Martinelli if Saka doesn't play. And I think that would probably be the only change from the starting 11 if, that's the injury creates a situation whereby he's got to change it. Otherwise, it'll probably be the same 11 that started against Newcastle. I think.
Yeah.
I can't see him bringing Tierney back in just for that game when Tavares has had a run of games. I can't see that as being a change, but more experience, he might go that way. But he didn't do that for Liverpool, did he? So he's not likely to do that for Man United, is he?
Yeah. I can see what Steve F said there in the chat, saying Pepe's next game is likely to be Sunderland. I can probably agree that that's true. Yeah, it is true though. Like, again, I think it's what Steve said before about the players drifting, because look at Saka's goal. He started out on the right hand side and he came in over to the left. So I would like to see that personally. I'd like to see maybe Smith Rowe on the right, about Ødegaard behind, Martinelli on the left, with Aubameyang through the middle against Man United. If Saka's, but it'll be just such bad luck if he's going to be missing when he's really just started to. I mean, he's been good all season, Saka, but he's really, really good at the moment, isn't he? Yeah. And it'd be just a bloody luck to get injured right at that time when he's just got back to his peak of his powers. Just a typical Arsenal luck, that is, with an injury. It's like
but you get
it's like losing Xhaka when he just started his partnership with Partey in the North London derby, and it started looking good.
Got injured.
We lose one of them, and now Saka's just getting bang up to form, and then we go and lose him. So it's just
we haven't lost him yet.
Yeah. That's good.
Let's be positive. Positive Arsenal. We haven't lost him yet.
Yeah.
Gary saying if Saka is out, then either Martinelli or Pepe starts on Monday and the other starts on Thursday.
Yeah, could be potentially, couldn't it?
Either way, December. We're going into a month now where it's going to be manic because we've got the League Cup quarterfinals as well to contend with near Christmas. So he's got to mix it. He's got to mix the teams up every now and then. So, and in January, should we get through the quarterfinal? New Year's Day City, then we've got the first leg semi-final, then we've got the FA Cup third round, then we've got the semi-final second leg, then we've got North London Derby away, and then the fourth round of the FA Cup near the end of the month, plus all a couple other league games in a month still. So it's not going to be, next couple of months are going to be manic, so you've got to mix it up a bit here and there.
Yeah,
so
that includes losing players as well, doesn't it? We know we're going to lose 3 or 4 players come January. So, it's when you need the squad, isn't it? And I know we're not alone in that. Other clubs lose players as well. But, if we're on a run, we don't want to be losing players if we can help it, do we? But, hey, that's just
the good news. The good news is that the game against Chelsea is likely to be postponed, isn't it, and put forward, because the World Club Cup Championship dates have been announced, and it clashes with Arsenal's meeting with Chelsea. So the good thing about that is that we should get our players back who have been away at the African Cup of Nations for the Chelsea game.
Positives.
So that is a positive.
Oh dear. I'll take every little victory here and there at the moment. Especially, we've all said at the start of the season, if come New Year, like going into January, we're in a position, as it stands, we could be in that position. We can't exactly say definite. But say New Year's Day, going into the Manchester City home game before kickoff, we're literally either where we are now, bottom goal difference or whatever, or just in that full spot. We need to then use that transfer window and keep our players fit as fast as we can, that we do have for that month period, to get us through and keep us in that base. So then the players come back, they've still got something to fight for, other than just the cups.
Yeah, exactly. But he's, I think Partey. Someone just put a comment about Partey, and he's a player out of form as well at the moment. He's not playing dreadfully, but he's not playing like the player we want him to be.
Middle of the road at the moment, yeah.
Yeah, he's a player that's desperately trying to play himself back into form as well. At the
Where
moment.
is that? I've not really looked at the AFCON that much though, but where actually are the games being played? Are they in one particular country or are they spread out? Because the only reason I'm asking is because of obviously the latest COVID problems. Come December time, we might be looking at a different landscape in terms of travel.
I think it's still taking place.
And it could mean that tournament may get postponed. I'm just saying out loud, but if people can't travel from European countries to Africa, that could prove a problem for them, couldn't it?
If it kicks in, yeah, bloody hell, yeah.
I mean, with everything that they've done so far, with regards to the World Cup, the Euros, everything they've put together, there's no way that they'll cancel this tournament. I'm telling you now. I think that they will play it no matter what, whether there's no fans there whatsoever, whether there's no press there ever.
What the Premier League come to, because obviously there's certain players from these countries has come from Premier League. The likes of Arsenal, Liverpool, and there's a few other clubs as well. Man City with Mahrez and all that. They all come together. The Premier League and go, we're not sending our players over there because we can't risk them coming back, or then risk them going there, dying, or coming back and giving it to someone else.
Also, potentially, it could be 10-day isolation when they do come back. So that's another 2 weeks on top of
that as well.
It's all in Cameroon. It's all being held in Cameroon.
Right.
The tournament.
Well, the government will have a decision on that at some point when the travel restrictions, whatever they might be, if it carries on the way it is. So we'll have to keep an eye on that.
I don't think the clubs could actually stop them once they've been called up, unless they're obviously injured, which the clubs can play upon, I'm sure. But I don't think they can pull them out because it's the same with FIFA, all this FIFA and UEFA. You have to go unless the player themselves refuse to go.
Well,
the players can refuse to go if they're worried.
There's that possibility as well. But what was it? The start of the season, there's a kickoff with a few of the Argentina players that clubs have demanded they stay. That stayed because there's problems with COVID where they were going in Brazil and all that. And they went, okay, and then went off behind their back and went off to play for their country. Because there's travel restrictions in place as well at the time, like we're mentioning. They basically had to face retrospective action from the club when they came back in fines and all that. Plus they had to quarantine. They had to quarantine.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Another thing I'm saying is that with that, if our infamous government decide anyone going travelling to includes footballers or whoever travelling anywhere into Africa, anywhere in Africa, had to then come back and quarantine, athlete or not, and you got a quarantine for 10 days. Clubs might be crapping the bed, but especially you've got the race of the title that could be affected by it. Especially Liverpool's perspective. Top four, other European spots, relegation could be crucial as well for certain players as well. So it could be very, very messy.
I think it's definitely worth keeping an eye on because I say if the infection rate continues across Africa at the rate it's currently going, then the whole of Africa will be on a red list, won't it? That's where it'll end up.
Yeah.
And then that will mean a minimum 10-day isolation when they come back, whenever that is. So that could take February, couldn't it? Potentially.
Yeah, I mean, if ever there's a time that players may well pull out of playing for their national teams, it's going to be around now, isn't it? With all this concern, with the new strain that's coming out, with all the concern about travelling here, there, and everywhere getting worse again. With the club, especially I'm not saying specifically Arsenal, but when there's a club that's just starting to show that we can really properly challenge for like top four and so on, and it's going well, and there's a really good atmosphere in the club and so on, and it's going to be easier, isn't it, to say sorry, but I'm too worried to go. I don't want to go. Making a stand. and stay with your club. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but the chances are a bit higher than normal.
We're talking from a fan's perspective about obviously the clubs. Yeah, these players are families as well. Or they're going to run a risk going to anywhere in Africa, be it Cameroon or wherever, representing their country, possibly contracting without knowing, and having the possibility of infecting their family or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, they've got mums and dads as well who are obviously maybe getting on in years, who are much more higher risk of from the disease, and they've got to make that decision. So of course, it's a hell of a lot to take in. But let's not be naive. The clubs are going to be all over this.
Oh, of course.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But I'm just saying from the human perspective as well. There's a human
even if there's like a 20, there's a really small percentage chance that their player's going to be in real danger. They're going to jump on that and make merry hell about their players being taken away from them for a month. Let's not be naive there. They're going to be trying everything and they're going to all over all the news to see whether their player's going to be exposed over there. Because remember last time, I think, what was it? Bamiyang had to sleep on a airport floor for a whole. I mean, that's just unreal, isn't it? In this day and age, for a superstar footballer to have to do that, and they're not going to want that again. So they're going to want their players to be looked after. And
watch this space then. Watch this space. We just have to keep an eye on it. But I just think international football is probably not high on the agenda.
Next 14 days will be key.
And I mean all the international football. I mean, I know we just finished all the World Cup qualifiers, but putting all these players at risk travelling all over Europe is not the best, is it? But it's done now. It's done.
Yeah. You can understand, I suppose, the European tournaments within the clubs, because you can really keep your bubble nice and tight when you're travelling around. But when your players are popping out of that bubble and going off here, there, and everywhere, and then coming back into your bubble, that's when the trouble starts, isn't it? So these tournaments are. I mean, where do you draw the line? I suppose of stopping tournaments, and you can't. You're going to have to go to normal life at some point. But I think it's still maybe a real risk, a a risk that should have been perhaps thought about a few months ago. Maybe
you're right. I think you're right. I think the clubs are all over it. They'll be looking at all the options. If certain things happen, can they veto people travelling? The government will be making decisions about countries you can't go to without massive isolation. Negative test. There's going to be so many restrictions in place come beginning of January, I would imagine. So we'll just have to wait and see, won't we?
Yeah. Well, like we said, moving back onto the Arsenal front, then I mean, this month, I think by the end of this month, with the calendar the way it is, or the games that have got coming up, it's going to say everything really about whether we are going to keep up this pace to just be still in touch with the top four come January the 1st. Really, it's January the 2nd if we count the Man City game, which probably not worth doing because we're not competing against them, as we mentioned. We're competing against our own little league of qualifying.
We'll win the 6 games either side of the City game, get hammered at City, and then just carry on with our season. I mean, if that's how it is at the moment, we'll just beat the teams we're supposed to beat.
Yeah,
because everybody else are the top three.
If we get top 4, I'm not going to complain in the season. If we get top 4, I'm not complaining. Put it out.
No, absolutely.
It's happening this way when we're managed by Arsene Wenger. Let's not forget. So, they're playing a different sport at the moment. Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City. Sorry. So we've got to beat all the teams we're capable of beating. I'm not saying we're not capable of beating those teams because we did a double over Chelsea last season. Let's not get that wrong. We beat Man City as well in the semi-final, but we're not going to get our season judged by that game. So if we come out of this December run of games in a real good shape, then it's going to be fantastic. But it's so hard to judge what Man United is going to turn up on Thursday.
You know which one's going to turn up.
Is it going to be the Man United against Watford, or is it going to be the Man United against Villarreal? And I'm with you, Steve.
You know which one it is. I know you're trying to talk.
We know
about
what's
it.
coming.
You know which one's going to turn up.
Even if Ralph isn't in the dugout, he's in the stands. They're going to perform their eye out for him.
Well, exactly.
That's the point.
I mean, can you believe what Michael Carrick did though against Chelsea? I mean, the dude's only had 2 games in charge, 1 Premier League game in charge, and you drop Cristiano Ronaldo. I mean, why would you do that? If you're him, you just play him, don't you? Because you've only got 1 game in charge.
Unless you've been influenced by Ralph.
He brought Sancho in and he scored, didn't he? So you can't odds that.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying. Did you see the argument between
Roy Keane and Sammy Carragher kicking off for 5 minutes?
Do you know? The thing is, when you're like a neutral, you actually agree with both of them in a weird way. There's nothing either of them said that weren't true, but if we can come out of there unbeaten, I'll be happy. I'm not expecting to go up there and play the Man United that have been playing the last few weeks and embarrassing themselves here, there, and everywhere. So they're going to be a different kettle of fish. I'm a bit worried about it, really, if I'm honest.
What about if we went there and we actually hammered them? What would that say about us?
Would to be out,
just turn around and say, "Oh yeah, but United are crap at the moment. You beat them 4-0, but they're crap. You can't win."
Chelsea ain't doing 1-1, but okay, cool.
Well, yeah, I mean, when we play Chelsea, if we play the Chelsea that played last night, I wouldn't be worried about that game. They weren't that great, were they, Chelsea, the other night?
No, that's what I'm saying. But you know what I'm saying? Literally, Chelsea, United draw against Chelsea, nothing's said of it. We beat United. If we thumped United on Thursday, as you say, we're saying it's only a poor Man United team. Right?
I don't think Chelsea have beaten Man United since 2004 or something ridiculous. The stat yesterday. They're a bogey team. They never beat Chelsea. Chelsea never beat Man United. It's just really weird.
But, I do. Again, they are. Look, let's not get it all twisted. Man United the players are going to turn up unless something ridiculous happens. They all shit the bed at Old Trafford in front of their own crowd. They are going to try and put on the show. But I think the way that we're setting up this season against most of these teams, the teams in and around us, or the teams we should be beating, I think we'll either nick it 2-1 or be a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Because I mean, the way that you beat Man United is because their defence is shocking. We can get at their defence. We can score a goal. We can score a goal or two. But I mean, their firepower is quite frightening. However, our defence is immense at the moment, and Ramsdale is outstanding. I'm erring on the side of like a 2-1 myself. I think to us.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be unhappy with a 1-1 draw to come out away at Man United. Even though the season they're having, they've got bloody Ralph Rangnick now, and I know he may not be able to be in the dugout because of a work permit issue.
Yeah,
but it's going to get done, and just whether it's done in time. But I can't see it not being done in time before Thursday. Players and that usually get them within a couple of days, don't they?
Yeah, I think the cut-off point is some point tomorrow, because obviously it's got to be done 48 hours before our kick-off.
You can still pick the team, though, can't you? Still pick the team. You can still
pick the
team, but not legally, no, unless he's got his work permit.
Yeah. Basically, he can.
He was just hanging around.
Have a word of Carrick, basically.
Not working, but I'm there.
Yeah. To do a Mel Marino, all earpieces. Yeah. Cool. So do it. Get on with it.
He's on a tourist visa at the moment. He can go to the ground, can't he? Probably.
Yeah, I'll be in the stands. You'll be in the dugout, or you'll be up near with Sir Alex.
Either way, they're going to get a boost, aren't they?
Absolutely, yeah.
So,
So we've got to be on our mettle. We've got to be our A game, haven't we? So
Yeah, the players are going to want to impress him. I mean, they're not going to go out there and put a sloppy performance in with a bloke like Ralph Rangnick sitting there watching on, are they? So it's going to be. It's just again Arsenal luck, isn't it? Getting teams just as they've changed their manager.
Yeah.
But they're still not going to be. He's not going to have had a chance to work with them on the training ground as such. But it's just the fact that they're going to want to put up a performance for him. So it's really, really hard to call. But I can't choose between a 2-1 win for Arsenal because I think we can hurt them and I think our defence is strong. But I don't know. I'm really torn on whether to go for a 1-1 as well. So either one of those I'd be happy with, obviously.
Yeah. It keeps us fifth as well, and our points difference doesn't change either way. As in, if we draw,
West Ham playing Thursday. West Ham playing Thursday.
West Ham, I think they're playing tomorrow or Wednesday. I'm just going to check now. I think they're
Wednesday.
I'll double check now. Actually, yeah. Checking. Tuesday, we've got it loads up.
Sign of the times, isn't it? If we're looking at teams like what West Ham are doing, when we used to be looking about teams like Liverpool, Man United are doing, but
West Ham got Brighton on Wednesday at home. Wolves v Burnley, Southampton v Leicester, Villa v Man City, Everton, Liverpool, and Watford, Chelsea. And then we're playing on Thursday.
Do you know what? That's another thing. I can't remember who said this. I was listening to a podcast, and I can't remember who said this. So apologies to that person. However, we could also get Everton with a new manager potentially.
It'll be our bloody luck. You watch.
Because they've had a terrible run. All the fans hate it.
Never won it, did they?
No, Benitez out was trending, I believe. And then if they go and lose the Merseyside derby by a big margin on Wednesday,
Big Dunk will be in charge, won't he?
Which is highly likely, isn't it? Highly likely.
You know what happens when Big Dunk takes over.
Yep, always a reaction. For fuck's sake. If we are sodding luck, you watch now you said that. I blame you if it happens. It's all your fault.
No, I'm quoting someone else. I think it might have been the Arsblog. It was. I think it might have been him. But that would be just our luck, wouldn't it? I mean, they should just give it to Big Dunk anyway, for fuck's sake. I mean, whenever he takes over, they're brilliant.
Response. Yeah.
Just give it to him for crying out loud.
The guy went on an unbeaten run last time round. No, this is who we got now, Ancelotti.
Didn't they beat someone? I mean, the first two games he had. Yeah, they
thumped him 3-1.
Yeah.
Run into the ball, boy picked him up, slung him around. Everything.
Remember him running sprinting down the pitch in his nicely pressed white shirt.
Oh dear.
I know that'd be just typical. That would, wouldn't it? But I mean, lineup wise, I think we've discussed that earlier, haven't we? About the lineup for Thursday. I would stick with pretty much, unless to say the big thing is Saka, but otherwise I would stay the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
100% continue with Ødegaard there because of his work rate as well. He could actually keep an eye on them, stop them from sort of bringing the ball out, especially Maguire. He likes to bring the ball out, doesn't he? And dribble the ball out from defence, and I think he could do it because he's a really good presser of the ball. So, I said before, he works really hard. So I'll definitely keep him in the team. And the only thing is, if Saka's not fit, I would probably play Smith Rowe on the right and Martinelli on the left. I think that's
okay with that.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't bring Pepe in and keep Smith Rowe on the left then?
No,
not for Man United. Everton maybe, not Man United.
Yeah.
Because of how intense is going to be there.
Saka's out, then I'd move Smith and put Martinelli on the left.
I think that Pepe's going to have a role to play, especially in this sort of hectic schedule.
Yeah.
Because, like we said before, you don't want to become a predictable team that people can easily go and... Exactly, yeah. You need to mix it up every now and then just to keep the opposition on their toes.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, Colonel, we'll talk about Duncan Ferguson, who's Scottish, not English. Not Big Sam.
thing with
So-
Pepe though is he's not a first 11 player now, is he? He's fallen
No.
down behind.
Uncle Ferguson, he's a bit old now, mate.
You know.
No.
So
Oh.
No,
Anyway,
but he's going to have a big role to play coming up to the end of the December.
mid-December
He's
onwards.
going to be away as well, isn't he, in January?
mm,
So I'm sure we're going to get a few games out of him between now and the end of December because we've got so many coming up.
yeah, he'll play against
Yeah.
Sunderland, won't he? Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Got to, yeah. You'd think.
But then will he do the same as he did last time? Change pretty much the whole 10, including goalkeeper, back four. No, because these guys aren't getting a game, are they? They're not even anywhere close to getting in the side, are they? The backup defenders, and Leno not even talked about anymore now, is he?
No.
Well, Steve's asking who would be better against Wan-Bissaka?
Well, like I said, he's been a poor. I just do not know how he stayed in the team.
It's done better,
Surely
isn't
it's got someone else because he's
Yeah.
played every minute of every game, Wan-Bissaka, and he has been appalling in my opinion. He's not a Man United player,
he? No.
but I mean Martinelli would rip him a new one, wouldn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
Hmm.
Yeah, you'd like to see that, wouldn't you? For sure.
100%.
We saw this at the weekend when every time he got the ball in the last 25 minutes, he was literally he demanded basically every time even if he didn't have the ball, he'd be at an ankle trying to get the ball back. And he'd be holding the corner in out and pass it off. He'd wait for the option to come to him to get it off. He had upper body strength to hold off. Whereas
And also we've got Tavares as well.
yeah.
Tavares will just like make mincemeat of him.
You couldn't see a situation whereby he brings Tierney back and pushes Tavares forward.
Could do.
That'd be a really good option. Yeah, that'd be a really good
There's
option.
no reason why he couldn't. I mean, again, against Bissaka, he'd run him into the ground, wouldn't he?
Thing is, with Wan-Bissaka, he's not a threat going forward. He never has been. He never will be. I don't think you need to double up on him because he's that bad, in my opinion. So I think Martinelli would be. If we just stick with Martinelli and Tavares on that left-hand side, Wan-Bissaka's got no chance. He might as well just not get out of bed in the morning. So, but that's the biggest threat we're going to have because Tellez. I don't think much of Tellez either on the other side, and I don't think.
Good, isn't it? The Tellez doesn't even start for them anymore. It's Luke Shaw now.
Started against Chelsea.
Started against Chelsea.
I think Luke Shaw's injured. Was he injured or suspended?
Must have been injured. He hasn't been suspended enough, I don't think. No.
I don't think so. Tellez was playing against Chelsea, and Tellez was rubbish. And I don't think Luke Shaw, from what I heard, is going to be back for the Arsenal game either. So,
I'll put a
Steve
tenner on
said
he
he's
will
injured,
be.
yeah.
I'll put a tenner on he will be. They always
but
do,
even
don't
if he is, I think he's overrated. I don't particularly think he's a brilliant player. I know he scored in the European Championship final, but I think anyone could have scored that goal. But
No, apparently he's injured.
he's injured. There you go. So I don't think we've got anything to worry about with them keeping us out. It's just, can we keep them out with their forward line? And if any Arsenal defence is going to do that, it's this one.
Yeah.
And Ramsdale in goal.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, I'm quietly confident. It's just that sometimes,
You never know, sort of. Yeah,
exactly, yeah, they just pull a performance out of nowhere, and you know that if they do that, it's going to be against us, isn't it? But we seem to have had their number over the last couple of years, so fingers crossed. I'm hoping for a 2-1 win, and I will be absolutely any kind of win, another 1-0 penalty. I'll be absolutely delighted with any kind of win.
I don't bet on the Arsenal, but I wouldn't mind sticking a couple of quid on another clean sheet.
It'd be amazing, mate. Honestly, it really would. Because I can see us scoring against them.
It's a habit, isn't it? Clean sheets, like a lot of things, it just becomes a habit. They just don't concede.
This is another thing I've mentioned with brother today. Compared to the last few seasons, especially last season, look at the amount of clean sheets we're having, especially in the league. We're conceding for fun this time last year.
I know.
Whereas now it's like, as you say, it's a habit now. Like we're not hoping for the clean sheet. We're not, oh, if we get clean sheets, a bonus sort of thing. We're sort of coming to used to it, sort of expecting it now.
Is it only Mendy
And
that's
so the
got
players.
more clean sheets? Is it Mendy that's got more clean sheets than Ramsdale?
Mendy, yeah, he's the only person, only goalkeeper's got it by one as well.
Yeah.
But I heard Roy Keane in that thing with Jamie Carragher. I'm sure he said Chelsea have had 31 clean sheets out of 50 games.
Incredible.
I mean, that is that's actually shocking, isn't it? That's unbelievable. 31 out of 50.
It shows where Lampard was going wrong, though.
And he'd never played as a manager. Apparently, he'd never played a back three before.
No,
but he came into Chelsea, quickly assessed the quality. We've got to switch to a back, and it's just overnight. It's just unreal. I just really incredible. I just fucking hate them.
We don't we all? Oh dear. But yeah, I think they're gone.
No. I mean, it's they got away with a few, didn't they? Chelsea against Man United. Though that pass out from Mendy went straight to.
Oh bloody hell, that was poor.
If that had been us, that'd been in the back of the net, wouldn't it? Without a doubt.
That took forever though. He literally got the ball and just looked there, stood there, and then had to shot once keeper was back on the line. I tried to lob him on the keeper was on. Like, really?
You got Ronaldo shouting at him, pass the ball, pass the ball.
Yeah, give me the fucking ball. Could have won in the bottom door, let's be honest. Fucking hell. Anyway, but it is what it is, yeah. It actually might be equal, actually, because that stat I saw was last week, and obviously we've got a clean sheet this week, and they conceded, so it might be level now this season with clean sheets. Mendy and Ramsdale.
Yeah.
But again, that's the bar that he's sort of Ramsdale set. And I've seen not more days.
Ramsdale, the best goalkeeper in the Premier League this season. Him and Mendy are right up there, aren't they? But I mean, overall, for the saves that he's made, because let's face it, Mendy's quiet in that goal. The saves that he's made.
Forget, Ramsdale didn't play the first 3 games, did he? When we conceded 9 goals or something.
Yeah,
he didn't play those 3 games.
He didn't play them.
So his stats since pretty phenomenal. Apart from the Liverpool game, you can't blame him for that. He probably saved 4 or 5.
So even in that, he played 3 games there, so he's got the same amount of clean sheets as someone that played 3 more games than him. Who's playing for the European champions? More can you ask for at the moment?
He's playing behind the strongest defence there is in the Premier League, and he doesn't have to hardly do a thing. But Ramsdale's been busier, and for what he's had to do, you can't say anyone's better than him this season in the Premier League. Pickford
bloody isn't, put it that way.
No.
But, I mean, I think was it last season? We were conceding shots on goal like a dozen a game, weren't we? More than that. Whereas
20 odd.
It was 20s and plus,
Yeah, this season that's not the case, is it? I mean, the 2 shots that Shelby had, that was it for the game, wasn't it?
Yeah. It felt like it.
It's just such
must have been,
brilliant save that was. But
you're getting used to that now, though, aren't you? You're getting used to that. You expect.
Well, that's it now. Actually, that's what I was thinking earlier on today. Funnily enough, people didn't really mention that save against Shelby, and because they just think, oh well, that's another save. He's just done another save there. It's just like becoming expected. It's just madness. That was a brilliant save, but it hardly got a mention, did it? Because it's just like you said, Steve. It's like, oh well, that's what he does.
Every week, so. Yeah. That was the order.
It's what it is now.
It's not better than that.
I know. Literally full stretch, tipped it onto the bar. I mean, you can see from Shelby's reaction what a brilliant save it was. He couldn't believe it.
He's doing his acceptance speech, wasn't he? He was getting his acceptance speech, goal of the season, wasn't he?
Oh, he's getting ready to go back and tell the rest of the Adams family what a good save that was. Ramsdale just made.
Oh dear! Come New Year's Day, we fucking got De Bruyne pinning him at him about. It's normal. It's fine. No worries. It's only De Bruyne now. Oh dear, but yeah. We've wrapped things up now. Thanks, guys, for coming along and everyone in the chat. I'll put the audio up in the next 40 odd minutes. I'll be back on Thursday for the actual watch long. Got a few guys lined up already. I'll be cleanly shaved as well, completely, as in this. Be gone, thank God.
Oh, Jason King's leaving the building.
I don't know what's worse, that or Hitler.
Quite a reputation.
Oh dear, it's aggravating me now because it's down. It's scratching up the lip. And it's like,
Twisted up the edges with some
wax on it. Get some wax on it. Start, shaping it.
Oh dear. But yeah, so back on. Yeah, as I say, back on Thursday for that. What time was that? Kickoff 8:15 kickoff, isn't it? Because Amazon, isn't it?
Yeah. Is it on Sky?
Amazon.
Sorry?
It's on Amazon.
Amazon Prime.
That's all right, I got that.
$6.99 a month. If you want to watch it on that and all that jazz. I think now. Double check. I'm just double checking now. Yeah, 8:15. So about quarter to 7 we'll go live. Go for the teams that we always do. Have a bit of laugh. Gary got Liam already confirmed. A few others I'm waiting to hear back from for that. And then on, I think now because it's all mixed up now because it's all coming thick and fast. Friday we'll come back for another. Friday we'll come back for the next podcast with obviously these guys if they're available, and talk about obviously that game and touch on what's coming on Monday as well in terms of the way to ever and also briefly touch on as well the Women's FA Cup final, yeah, against Chelsea on Sunday, which I'll be at, by the way. Oh dear. But yeah, do all that. So I've got a few things coming there tomorrow. Andrew's got something up. He's got his podcast. What time's that? And who's joining him?
If you want more of the same, guys, come back tomorrow, 7:30. I don't know whether you two guys are free, but we've got Chappers and Kunjan back on the show, which would be a good one. Russ, you said
it's just
Russ is begging to come on the show, of course. You're more than welcome, mate, if you're free. Come and have a chat. And so join us on that tomorrow night for more of the same, from Dole Square to where. It'll be a good one.
Well, there you go. He's confirmed. He's confirmed it. He's coming on. There you go.
I'll get to that then, Russ.
What's
I'll
be a blaze.
send you a WhatsApp later.
Oh, dear.
I don't want to be superstitious, but last season I subscribed to Amazon for all the Arsenal games, and we lost every one.
Oh God!
Well, if you're no longer with Amazon, I think you can come back and get a 30-day free trial before you sign up. So do it this time without paying, and
cancel it straight away.
And you can cancel it.
Actually, we've got two, haven't we? Got this one. I've got Wolves in the months. That's on Amazon as well. They're the two games for this season. All back on BT and Sky. So wait till do that 30-day 3-month thing.
I'll do the radio. I'll do it on radio.
Get on the 20 after full time. Yeah, I'm cancelling because you're fucking nuts. It's all your fucking fault, Amazon. Piss off.
I thought we had more than that on Amazon this month, but I might be wrong.
That's what I saw. Anyway, might be more. I'll have a look now.
Oh no, right. It's just Arsenal. Sorry, Arsenal, Man United, lost the Wolves.
Yeah, because they say 20 games. It's like 10 games on each. So tomorrow, all the midweek games this week are all on Amazon basically, and then obviously end of the month all on Amazon. So yeah. Steve, what about yourself? Where can people find you on your social media and all that?
Yeah, obviously here and on Twitter at Steve1886. So yeah, just do the odd tweet on there, and the mood takes me.
You've got something really poetic to say.
Yeah, something earth-defining.
Like dropping the odd F-bomb, C-bomb. If you're easily offended, don't follow Steve.
No. If you're tweeting, your opening line is Arteta out, you're probably going to get blocked. So there you go.
Yeah.
Don't follow
Russ
Richard at the moment.
has already made his excuses. There you go. Can't
Yeah,
take it. Swimming. Is that a euphemism, Russ? Or...
You went there. You actually went there. Oh, my God. Anyway, as I said, we're back on Thursday around 7:45. I'll confirm it near the time and all that. And, yeah, I'll see you then. I hope you've enjoyed the podcast. As I said, the next 30-odd minutes, 40 minutes to the actual audio be up on Spotify and all that jazz as well. You can listen to it back or whatever. If you're new to the channel, do subscribe, do smash that like button and share the link around. And we'll see you soon. And as always, up the Arsenal. Come on, you guys.
Come on, you Gunners.
Take care, guys. It's been a pleasure.